want to do a Vision Pro check-in with you, Jason. How often are you using your Vision Pro?
Varies widely. There was a span of about a week and a half where I didn't use it at all, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, Vision Pro, let's get back." And then and got it started back up again. But I did actually have, I'd say it's maybe a couple of days a week. I had there's some work going on in our house. And I work at our house, so it's extremely disruptive, extremely disruptive to my work. And at one point, I needed to write, I think it was a Macworld column, and I just I had to blot out the world, and I got the Bluetooth keyboard, and I actually sat in the bedroom on the bed with my headphones in, my AirPods, noise canceling, music playing for some of it. And wrote that whole article on the Vision Pro, which I hadn't done in maybe a month. And it was really great. I was reminded. And then when I was done, I was like, I'm just going to stay in here for a little while and look at some stuff and all of that and be reminded about it. I think the challenge with Vision Pro right now for me is I need more reasons to put it on.
Yes.
I need more kind of things. And this is the challenge with the platform right now is it needs more juice. It needs more content. It needs more reasons to use it. It needs more features. And it's fine, right? Like I get it. It is a new platform that's really just kind of starting, but that's sort of where I am with it. Is if there's new content, I will go watch it. And if there's a very particular thing where I want to kind of block out the world, I will use it. But also, it's a little of that is artificial. Like the iPad Pro took up all of my bandwidth for a couple of weeks, where I just used the iPad Pro all the time. And anytime I would be like, well, I could do this on the, I was going to watch something on the Vision Pro, and then I thought I got to watch this on the OLED screen on the iPad Pro because I need that as another data point. I need more video that I'm watching on the iPad Pro. So some of it's that. How are you doing with yours?
I use mine once or twice a week for a few hours at a time usually, and I, similarly to you, I use it more when there's a thing that gets me there, and then I'll use it for a long period of time, right?
Yes.
And so,
100%.
for me, I've watched every episode of X-Men 97 on the Vision Pro. So every Wednesday, I was sitting down watching an episode for 30 minutes and then using it for another hour, an hour and a half. Because when I'm in the Vision Pro, I just want to spend time in it. I love, I say, it's the perfect noodling computer. I'm over here checking this message. I'm over here looking at this. I really like it. Imagine how, for a lot of people, I expect you may be similar to me. If you, when you're on an iPad, you're kind of spending some time on it. You're checking what's on this app, what's on that app, what's in my RSS. That's how I love to use the Vision Pro. It's the ultimate iPad in that way and I find it very engaging. The operating system looks really great. It's kind of general procrastinating, or as I like to call workcrastinating. You're just you're doing little jobs.
It's just stuff I would be doing anyway, but I'm doing it here instead of there.
And it's fantastic for that.
I agree 100% with your perception, which is I need a reason to put it on, but once I put it on, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, while I'm here, I'm going to do this thing and that thing and all that because it's really fun. But you do need, it's enough of a leap where I don't have it hanging out where I'm just going to flip this thing right on. It's more am I going to use the Vision Pro? Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get set somewhere with it, and I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to get it all hooked up, and I'm going to be ready to go. And once I'm over that hump, I'm I don't want to leave, honestly, for some period of time. I'm
similarly
can I
for
stay
me,
in here?
If I have to write something longer than an email, I'm putting the Vision Pro on because I find it to be really helpful for helping me stay focused. Just because it's so visually engaging and audio engaging to use. So, but there is new content. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk today. Is there's three things content wise, which for the Vision Pro is it's like ice water in the desert right now. So the first thing. I saw Sigmund Judge, who's the host of Magic Rays of Light on Mac Stories, on Mastodon, said that the Experience Immersive trailer had been updated. So this is the sizzle reel. And it's all new. There's so much stuff that's in this now. So they have more sports stuff. So there is a golf shot. There is content from the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And the NBA All-Star game.
Wow.
in this now. There's more soccer. There's more human interest stuff. There's like hot air balloons, and there's people wild swimming, and there's more wildlife content. There's so much more stuff. It's like a new sizzle reel. It seems like they're getting ready for a bit of a relaunch, maybe to more people. Like there's a ton of content that is not available in full form, right? So like the original immersive trailer, I think everything that was in there, essentially, except some of the sports stuff, but they all came out in the episode 1s of each of those like different immersive content. But there was a ton of stuff in this one that isn't available anywhere else.
Nice.
Like you can't, like one of the NBA All-Star shots, you're at courtside, which is what people wanted, right? You're sitting at courtside and you can look around and you're watching them. And what's really great is this one shot where someone misses a pass and the ball hits the camera and like it cuts at that moment, but it's like so perfect. It just so happened that the ball hit the camera.
I haven't seen this. This is great.
This is all new. Go watch it. It's really great. They also released the second episode of the Adventure series. So the Adventure series, the first episode was the highlining.
The fjords, the first one, yeah.
This one is of a parkour group in Paris. Interesting and terrifying. Because you're up there watching these guys make their jumps, and it's really well done. I liked this more than the highlining one. It's really, really good. I was like my heart was pounding watching it. It was very, very good. But it's not all Apple. There's also, this was announced a couple of weeks ago. The trailer is out now. What If? It's a Marvel experience. ILM Interactive and Marvel worked together to produce this. So me and you have both actually experienced this. We both are on the beta. We can only talk about the intro of it right now. So very, very early impressions. We'll actually maybe talk more about it next week.
I think so.
So it is. So What If is an animated series on Disney Plus, which is based on a comic series where it's basically what if you took things that happened in the Marvel timeline and did them in another direction. So like what if Peggy Carter became Captain Britain rather than Steve Rogers becoming Captain America? Like that's one of the big stories in the What If show, for example. This is a part movie, part you're involved in it. You can watch the trailer, you put the trailer and some impressions on 6 colors. Like this is exactly the kind of thing that we were hoping for. Like it's fun, the fidelity is fantastic. You're using hand tracking to like make spells, right? Like you're casting like Doctor Strange like spells. It's really cool.
Yeah, Wong appears in the intro and basically says, you know, here are some hand gestures, and there's and there's like a guide, but it's an in-universe guide. It's like the hand of Agamotto is going to show you how to do this gesture to do a teleport and this gesture. And that's a super clever way of integrating the hand tracking that Vision Pro can do in order to make it feel more immersive. I love that they call it an immersive experience because I was trying to explain this to somebody and I said, well, they don't want to call it a game.
Because it's not very long.
It's
not full.
Well, it's only about an hour long, and I think that they've said that too. But like an hour long is like the longest piece of immersive content that's been on the Vision Pro. So there's that, right? Like, but it's interactive. I wouldn't call it a game because it's not a game. I don't want to go too far, but I don't think you can die. I think you just play the game or you play the experience. But for things to happen, you have to do things, right? It's interactive. That's the thing that it is. Also, it's a combination of things, right? Some of it is spatial video. It's 3D video. Some of it is interaction in your augmented reality space. Some of it is virtual reality environments. It's using all of those different pieces. So to call it, I know it feels silly to call it an immersive experience, but I don't know what else you would call it because it is all of those things
that you're in. That's essentially it's like a cartoon episode of What If.
Sometimes you're watching it through like a portal. Sometimes you're in it. And some things have to happen because you do them, and the story progresses, and there are twists and turns, and there are choices that need to be made, and like so it is interactive. But I don't want to overhype it and say like it's totally a what if game, because it's not a game. But it is interactive and immersive. Yep. And it's a really interesting experiment, and again, it's like an hour, so it's actually it's got a if you think of it as a game, you'll think, oh, it's really short. But if you think of it as versus like one of these immersive videos that they've been doing, or something like an app like Encounter Dinosaurs, and this is an app too, it's the most I think that they've done.
Yeah, it feels like someone at Disney, or at Marvel, like during the process of them getting to see it initially, was like, I have a really cool idea. Right, because the Doctor Strange kind of idea, the casting spells of your hands, obviously fits so well for this. So yeah, we'll talk about it more next week, because we can't really talk about the full experience more than just the intro part, which is what we're talking about right now.
And it's going to be free. So if you got a Vision Pro on Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, you can get it.
Yeah,
so
the 30th.
Get it.
And I just want to say, getting embargo access to anything Marvel property is like dream come true for me. So loved it. You had a note too in our Vision Pro segment today called "Selling the Vision Pro." Have you sold your Vision Pro, Jason? What does that mean?
No. I have talked to some of my people I know who work in Apple retail, and it sounds like there's been, at least semi-officially, some recalibration in how they approach selling the Vision Pro in retail. And I think it's interesting and I think it's good, but it sounds like, okay, remember when this all started? Apple did its most Apple thing, which is like, oh, we're going to bring everybody to Cupertino, and we're going to have them all learn this script, and they're going to need to say it word for word. And it's a half-hour experience that involves, like, you're going to have to get your eyes scanned, and then the things are going to be assembled in the back and brought to you, and then you're going to be stepped through by a person, a 30-minute experience, and all of that. And I think they've done that now, right? Like, they've literally, everybody who wants to see that has seen it. And I think that it's interesting because retail is very sales focused in a way that maybe they weren't in the early days with Ron Johnson, where they were sort of like just the extrusion of Apple as an entity and a brand in your community, and they're like, it's a place for you to go, and like, it's not a hard sell place, you can just come and use the computers. And they've transitioned into a much more of everybody who works in retail is motivated by sales, I would say, to some degree or another. But what I'm hearing is that a lot of the feedback that they've gotten is from people who, when they're offered a Vision Pro experience, they say it's going to be 30 minutes, and they're like, I don't have that kind of time. And of course they don't. You're just somebody in a mall, you're walking by, you're like, oh yeah, I have heard about the Vision Pro. Can you show it to me? And they're like, yeah, it'll take about half an hour. And you're like, nope. So my understanding is that there's been a little bit of a recalibration, which is sort of like, if you can get them in it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, great, do it. And maybe we'll keep one here in the drawer that is just like a stock, no special lenses, and if somebody comes in and they don't need an adjustment, you just pull it out and put it on, right? You don't make them wait. And so I was thinking about this, and it's like, well, what is the goal of the Vision Pro in the Apple retail store? And the reason I mentioned the earlier days where it wasn't all about sales is, if I were running the zoo, I would do this. I would make it much easier to get that thing on people's faces because, first off, as a reviewer, I can say, I don't recommend the Vision Pro for people. Like, I don't. It costs too much, and there's not enough there. The people who should use it are people like us, people like developers, and people who really want to be on the cutting edge and don't mind that it costs $3,500. It's fine. They're happy to pay that to get a taste of the future. That's fine. But for everybody else, like, it's kind of a development platform and a future thing, and it's not ready yet. So if I'm thinking about Apple retail, I'm like, we're not going to sell a lot of these. And I'm sure that that's what they found, is that they don't sell a lot of them, and that the demo doesn't really even sell a lot of them. So I would say, what is our goal with Vision Pro and Apple retail? and I would take a page from the earlier days of Apple retail. I would say people coming into Apple retail who are curious about the Vision Pro, let's make it as easy as possible for them to explore it as long as they want up to the full half hour. And if all I have to do, if all I'm able to do is put it on and let them have a single immersive video experience, put it on and have Alicia Keys start singing, or put it on and see the Highline video, whatever it is, and then they take it off and they're like, wow, that was really cool, and they leave the store. What have I accomplished? And this is my thought, which is they came into the Apple store to buy an iPhone case or to buy an iPad or whatever. They were curious about Vision Pro. So they're in your ecosystem probably. They're curious about Vision Pro. You let them try it. You show off your most impressive thing, which, and this is, again, I think the kind of like mistake about the early days of the Vision Pro where they've gone all in on spatial computing as a thing, which, they may believe in. It may also be a combination of what they were able to ship and what they haven't been able to ship. But the fact that it doesn't really play very many games, and the games it plays are not like the games that you get on a Quest. And it's like, no, but it's a computer, right? Like, when somebody's got 5 minutes to see the Vision Pro, what you don't want to do is show them how to launch an app. I mean, you don't. Like, that's great and all. But what I want to do is, if I've got 5 minutes with somebody, is I want to put it on and do the immersive video thing. I want to do the demo reel, and then I want to say, which one would you like to watch? You want to watch the Highline? You want to watch Alicia Keys? You want to watch this? Don't watch the MLS video thing. But, what do you want to see? I want minimum. I just want them to have some time in immersive video. That's what I want, because that's the platform at its best. That's the thing that's going to blow them away more than anything else. I don't need to teach them the window interactions. Ideally, you'd even have it set up to just play the video when you put it on. And I know that's not the full demo. I know it's not showing off all the capabilities of this thing. But I think maybe the goal in retail right now should not be, let's sell a bunch of $3,500 headsets that most people don't want. It should be, you're already in the Apple Store. You're already in our ecosystem. You presumably like Apple as a brand. Here's the new thing that's totally impractical right now, but you can get a taste of it. You can see how amazing it is. And then you can keep in the back of your mind, Apple is where futuristic stuff happens. They're really on this. This is why I like Apple as a brand, is that they're looking at the future. And also, that Vision Pro, I have experienced it. If somebody asks me, I can say, yeah, it was pretty amazing. That's good. And then, maybe in a few years, when it's cheaper, it's more affordable, there's more stuff for it, maybe I will buy one of those because I've experienced it now and I had a positive experience with it. All of that stuff is good. None of it leads directly to a sale in the store. And I think that's okay. So if that's what Apple is doing here in retail, which is kind of admitting that Vision Pro is more there to enhance the brand, point the way to the future, get people to have a great experience with the product right now, because that's the goal in 5 minutes or 10 minutes and not 30 minutes, they should totally do that. And I hope that is a more broad policy that is coming for Apple retail, because if you think about the way that they rolled out the sales, where it was 30-minute time slots, whole walkthrough, how do you move windows around, how do you launch apps? It's like, first off, I totally understand if nobody wants to spend 30 minutes getting that whole demo. Lots of us are really busy and we're just in the mall, and I just wanted to get an iPhone case, but I am curious if you can lower that barrier and get that thing on their face quickly and have them see an immersive video. That's a victory. Even if they don't buy it, it has so many ancillary benefits. So I sort of feel like until they've got something that makes a better case for actually converting to sale, that's what they should do. I mean, have the 30-minute video walkthrough available for people who have the time, of course, but go with your best 5 minutes if you can. So I hope that this is not, the people I'm hearing from are sort of like, we're trying this, but we got indoctrinated in this other way of doing it, but now we're doing it this way. And like, is that good? Is that bad? And like, I think a lot of retail employees are like, it's bad because everything here is about sales now. And I think that's culturally going to be a challenge for Apple retail. But like, this product should not be about sales. This product should be about halo. It should be about making people more impressed with Apple as a brand as they come in to buy some other Apple product, and also about the future, about thinking about Vision Pro being able to have a firsthand experience with it. The more people who experience that immersive video today are more people who will be willing to buy a version of it in 3 years or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree with this. I think it is as important right now to, like, one person at a time change the public perception about the product. Because right now, the general public perception is too expensive. And it is too expensive, but wouldn't it be nicer to say, like, it's really expensive, but it's really cool?
Yeah, I want one of these. I can't afford it, but maybe in a few years I'll buy one.
Because everybody knows the way that Apple works. I feel like, like if you're at all even tangentially interested in technology, there's going to be a cheaper one in the future.
That's why I think it's such a great thing to get the demo as a brand extension, as a brand to glow up the brand even more. It's like people are already in your store and they don't have 30 minutes, but you can give them 5 or 10, and you can give them an experience that reinforces their connection to Apple as an innovator, as a company that makes cool stuff, and that the stuff keeps getting cooler.
Yeah.
Even if this isn't for you today, it makes you go, oh, someday I've seen the future. And you presumably will tell people too. It's like, oh, yeah, that Vision Pro, like you said, I know it's too expensive and all, but it was amazing. One of these days, those geniuses at Apple are going to do this thing, and it's going to be amazing.
When it's $500, I'll buy one. And
yeah, the most people possible to have that experience should be the goal.
And I would wonder if you said I can give you 5 minutes, if it's just going to be video, they might not even need to. They could create a version where you don't even need to do the eye training.
Exactly. Right? That's what I was saying. Is like, you might want to have a few in the drawer that literally just go on your face and start playing video.
And there's just like no setup really. You just put it on, and as long as you have good enough vision,
it measures your
starts.
pupils, and it just starts playing. Yeah, and obviously if you need correction, then so be it. But like if you don't need correction, just make it happen.
Yeah, because then it could be like because that's also a thing, right? To get a fuller demo where someone's like, "Wow, that was amazing! Like, do you want to do some more?" If they say yes, like, all right, we'll just do this quick setup and we'll start showing you some other stuff. Like, there's something interesting in that. And you know what? The what if could be a perfect part of the demo too, right? Like, you could do that instead of encounter dinosaurs or something like that. I can imagine Apple using that kind of stuff.
Yeah.